Canada has its challenges in terms of the immigrant space, but there's also challenges that are unique to each province. So hearing from people across the country has been incredible.
Talk about immigration and the connection with blockchain, which I think is quite interesting to think about. One last question in terms of the advice you would give. Where do you see specific opportunities for blockchain entrepreneurs from a Canadian point of view? Notwithstanding the fact that blockchain is a borderless technology, but I wonder if you think that because of our culture, because of the way our country is run even, or the way we promote certain issues more than others in the world, or even the place we have in the world, as a non-belligerent country, for example, that welcomes a lot of immigrants. I think this year will be a record, if I'm correct. Does that present unique opportunities for Canadian blockchain innovation?
Yes, I think absolutely, Flo. I think I mentioned the opportunities for leadership, for Canadians to show leadership, Canada to show leadership. I think it's done that in terms of the technology. And Canada has always been recognized for its science and engineering. So the technology aspect, I think, is already there. Thinking about the space arm and other innovations that the Canadian industry, Canada has done. But I think why I have chosen, having lived in several different places around the world and coming back to Canada, why I have chose this to be my home is because here in Canada, we have this multiculturalism policy and philosophy. Multiculturalism policy in terms of our policy in government, but immigrants have come here because of that. So in any boardroom that we go to, especially here in Toronto, you're going to be with such a diverse group of folks, and understanding their different perspectives and incorporating that in the final result, whether it's a product or a service, is something Canadians do every day. And that is essential to some of the global challenges that we have. Learning how to communicate with each other that have these different perspectives. And that's why if you see, I think, John Stackhouse wrote this in his book, Canadian Planet, I believe. Many of the leaders of these global organizations are Canadians because they understand how to do this. Now, taking that back to technology and specifically in the blockchain space, that is a critical place to play. Canada is a critical place to play because you get these different perspectives and you create a global product, a product that can translate. And you have people who are, Tamil Canadians, Ukrainian Canadians, Ethiopian Canadians, German Canadians, what have you, that can be the ambassadors for that product or service that you're delivering because they know how to speak both languages, how to play with both cultures. I think any business should come to Canada to take advantage of that. But I think given the advances in that blockchain is on the cutting edge and the population we have, that's a prime location for it.
Yeah. And of course, what we're not saying is that by bringing in a lot of immigrants, typically Canada is also making its population a bit younger, potentially, because we do have an aging problem in Canada, like in most, I would say, developed economies. So yeah, young is obviously, or generally more receptive to technology and being, let's say, first adopters. I want to give you a chance to maybe speak a bit about yourself and specifically your advocacy and the tour that you're doing right now of Canada, even as it doesn't relate to blockchain, because I think our audience deserves and you deserve to share your story with them as our founding sponsor. Can you take a few minutes and tell us how that tour is going and why it matters so much to you?
Sure, and thanks for the opportunity, Flo. I totally didn't prepare for this question, so
I didn't plan to ask it. It just came to my mind.
Okay, great. But as I do, I will speak from the heart, and I partnered with Canadian Immigrant this year to do a series of talks across Canada, and the most recent one was in Winnipeg. And it has been incredible to connect with immigrants in the different provinces. Canada has its challenges in terms of the immigrant space, but there's also challenges that are unique to each province. So hearing from people across the country has been incredible. But it's not just those individuals, it's really companies and organizations that are looking to hire immigrants but are challenged with their approach or how to do it, essentially. So getting the feedback from them, supporting them in whether it's as an individual or through our companies has been fantastic. I'm very passionate about this space. I think there's been some challenging comments in terms of immigrants in the news as of late, and not sure if you've seen, but I had a recent article about that, showing my support for immigrants and the need for immigrants in Canada. And we need them not just for their individual bodies, but for the insights, the perspectives, the talents that they bring to Canada. And last thing I want to add, Flo, if I may.
I just want a quick message to our audience. If you're enjoying this interview, and I hope you do, some of you must be, because very interesting conversation here, cutting across blockchain and of course entrepreneurship and immigration, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in a second. Please give us a like, share this video, follow the channel. You know how much that helps. Thank you very much to those who do.
Someone asked me, I'm a fifth generation Canadian. How do I fit into this? And I want to go back to that multiculturalism policy. We talked about, or at least I saw in kids, it's this multicultural mosaic. And, there's many things that we love about Quebec, for example, and that immigrants hear about Quebec from their home country and come to Canada to experience it. So when we think about multiculturalism, Quebec is a part of that. We want to ensure that all of these communities, whether it's First Nations, Quebecois, what have you, are part of this Canadian mosaic. And that is very important to me. That's how I grew up, appreciating these different cultures. And I couldn't do anything else, but that's the kind of Canada that I'd like to leave to my children. So anything I can do in that space is top of mind for me.
A huge thank you to all of you for watching. If you enjoyed the interview and you like what we do, support our mission to educate, inform, and inspire Canadians and others about the blockchain revolution. Make sure to give us a like, share your comments for me or for Muraly, and subscribe to the channel wherever you're watching this video. Again, Muraly, thank you very much. Thanks everyone for watching. Until the next time.